let's finish blocking in the villain's extremes. Now, before moving on from frame 29, there's a twisting problem in the spine we'll need to address. It's a lot easier to see from a top view. So let's go ahead and clean this up. So what I'd like to do, just going back to our character set and showing our control objects, is to straighten out the spine by first grabbing the hip, back, and chest controls. And on 29, we'll go ahead and just zero those controls out. So you can see how the body's kind of twisted over to the side. We want it straighter, of course. So let's go to the y-axis and rotate that over and around. When you select the y-axis in the channel box, if you cannot see your manipulator, simply switch it over to gimbal. It's the same thing. Sometimes we have display issues when we try to view manipulators from the channel box. Another thing you could do is restart Maya, but it's a lot easier to grab the next manipulator in your rotate tool options. So I'll also go to the z-axis and kind of straighten her up, and notice it's much better as far as the orientation of the upper body is concerned. And now we can go back to our back control and add some curvature there, and also correct the chest. Great. We know that she should kind of land on that left shoulder. So let's go ahead and rotate her chest in that direction. And we could also translate it up a little bit more so she's not interpenetrating through the floor. Okay, great. So now that that's taken care of, let's go to the sword, bring that back, and rotate it back some more. Kind of bring the arm over to the side a bit more. That's better. Great. All right, so by the next pose on frame 32, we're going to want the knees to really push into the body some more. And she's also going to start to rotate over to her right side. So to have that happen, let's say we have her slide back just a slight bit more. Again, on frame 32. So just go ahead and translate her back in the X and over slightly in the Z. Then we could take the center of gravity. We want to rotate that down. Since her legs are kind of pushing forward and into her chest, need to make sure we add a more curvature to the back. So that's what we end up with, something like that. We might push that a little bit further, so I'll rotate the control down some more. Might grab all of the controls again and kind of push her back some more in the X and over slightly in the Z. Great. So you can see the roll we're starting to get. Let's go ahead and take the chest now and start to straighten that up in the y-axis. And rotate the back up just a little bit more. The neck definitely will need to be rotated up. And her head also. And kind of angled over to the side where she's rolling. I'll make sure the pose is on frame 32. Okay, great. Now, let's go ahead and take the center of gravity control and start to have that rotate over to her right side. So she falls, and now she's starting to rotate over to the opposite side. Great. For her legs, going to want to push those knees in, not too much. We don't want her too flexible. We also want to make sure we avoid twinning, where the pose we choose for the legs almost appear to be mirrored, so we want to make sure they're offset. I think we've been doing a pretty good job at that. So what this means is that we can take the right leg and push that in a little bit more, maybe over to the side, fix the knee, and also rotate the ankle out, away from the body. And then we'll go ahead and still have the left leg kind of push in, but not as much as the right. So probably bring this up a bit more and over. I want to bring the knee over and then rotate the ankle towards the right leg a bit more. Let's make sure that's on frame 32. And we'll go in and delete the key that was off of that frame. So in my case, that was on 34. Okay, let's take a look at this. Character falls, knees kind of push in. Might want to bring them in some more. I'll grab both leg controls. And on 32, just go ahead and translate them in some more. As for the character's arm, at this point, we can have that hit the floor now. So that's the sword arm I'm referring to. Go ahead and bring that down to the floor. Rotate the blade up. Grab the elbow and translate that down. Okay, great. For the opposite arm, it's going to start to swing around. So let's go ahead and have that happen. We'll go ahead and start to rotate the wrist. Okay. Might even want to bring that over a little bit more, the left arm. Just taking a look at the flow as we scrub back and forth. Looks like we can kind of bring it over more to make sure it doesn't lag too far behind. Great. All right, so at this point, we can go ahead and add our last pose, where she comes to a stop. So let's go ahead and have that on frame 40. So at this point, what's going to happen is the center of gravity is going to kind of rotate to the side. So she's going to be resting on her side. It's going to rotate her in the z-axis and her center of gravity control. Then I'll grab all controls, bring her down, and then over more to the side in the z-axis. Maybe over just a little bit more. Okay, so that looks good. Great, so now we'll need to take a look at the center of gravity again, rotate it up in the x-axis, just so she's lying on the floor a little bit better. Okay, you can see that we'll need to translate her down so she's actually made contact with the floor. So let's make sure that happens on 40. And now we could start to polish the rest of the body. So for her right leg, it's going to be brought out a little bit more, and the left leg will naturally rest on top of it. So after we've done the right leg's pose, we'll go ahead and tackle the left leg. Again, just go ahead and bring that over and around. Let's really feel this pose. So let's say we take the ankle, kind of rotate that down so it's kind of resting on the floor. Okay. But then the knee, of course, that's going to need to be brought up so the leg doesn't interpenetrate. And then we can go ahead and take the foot back some more. I'd say that looks pretty good. Okay, great. So now, moving to the sword arm, you can go ahead and take that, translate it up, and actually bring this up and over so the arm is nearer, or her hand is nearer to her head. Okay, so that's looking pretty good. We can grab the next arm and go ahead and rotate that around and rest on the surface. Maybe bringing that down some more to offset this arm from the right arm. Okay, great. So here, just going to want to that pull down. The chest should rotate over some more. Okay, great. We'll also want to make sure that she is not, again, interpenetrating through the floor. So we'll want to pull the chest up. I've just translated it up. Then we can go ahead and grab the sword arm, bring that over closer to her head. We can take the character's arm control, translate that up. Okay, great. Going to the shoulder, want to rotate that forward. Now we can go ahead and take the sword. Thinking about where it would be, we'd want to rotate it back some more here. Okay, great. So we can really feel this rest pose that she's in. And that's the whole idea, to make sure that this is a believable gesture. Let's go ahead and rotate the head back. Just to show that she's unconscious here. Great. I'd like to go back to the left shoulder and kind of tweak that, rotate it down some more. And then finding our left arm control, or the elbow control, that is, pull vector. There it is. It's kind of in her body, so we'll just need to go ahead and correct that. Just lift this up a bit more. Over to the side. Okay. That's a little bit better. And I'll make sure that's on frame 40. And there we have it, her last pose. Now, going to the fingers, before we call this finished, let's go ahead and make sure the fingers also rest on the surface. So, this may be a matter of translating the hand control down some more. You can see that there was a gap between the floor and the palm of her hand. Then we can go ahead and start to fix the fingers so that they rest again on the surface. We won't do this with each finger just for the sake of time, but you can go ahead and take care of that and look at my next scene file if you need help on how to address that pose. But I'll now just go through and kind of tweak the pose out just a little bit more, just to correct any problems that may look off. But I'd say this is really nice. All right, so we have finished blocking in our character, the enemy that is. So we have the blue one left to take care of. Before we get to the blue character, let's go ahead and see if we can add any breakdown poses now, or if we can go in and correct the overall timing of the villain. And then once we're satisfied with everything, we can then go ahead and start to take care of the extremes of our heroine.